Hey everyone, welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel. We're also live on the Kempire Radio YouTube channel, live on Facebook, the Kempire, live on Kempire Radio Network's Facebook fan page, live on Periscope, and live on Twitch. Those are the Kempire on those platforms. We have so much to talk about. I can't believe the amount of people that were already in the chat room having a full conversation about tonight's Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. We have so much to talk about, but let's give people a moment to get into the chat because I have my notes. I'm going to post the call-in number because I want to hear everyone's thoughts. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Let me just look. Let me just take a sip. Let me just take a sip. I'm a little too excited. I see some of you guys are very excited as well. Calm down. Calm down. I want to know if you guys actually thought it was a really good reunion because, you know, rumor has it that it wasn't going to be a good reunion, but I'm willing to hear what you guys have to say in that regard. Let me just post the call-in number because I want to hear from you guys to call in and share your thoughts. Tonight was part one of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. I honestly don't believe they need 3 parts because I felt like they covered so much in the first part, but I know they have to talk about Bolo. But I felt like they covered so many areas. Anyways, before we get into the full crust of everything, be sure to like this video. If you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe because we go live almost daily to my detriment. But when there's breaking news, we go live, and you also get daily consistent content on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel. So if you've missed anything this week in regards to the Real Housewives of Atlanta, be sure to check out my other videos. We've been talking about a whole range of topics, including this weekend we were covering a little bit of what's been going on in regards to the DMX memorial. Just posted a video on Leah Cohen's comments in regards to DMX. Check those out. Tonight is all about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And don't forget, we will be doing a live recap tomorrow for 90 Day Fiancé. And later on that night, we'll be doing a Married to Medicine recap. But again, before we get into the full crux of everything, be sure to like this video. And shout out to everyone in the chat room. I appreciate everyone being here. So much to talk about. Let me pin this. And if you missed any of our conversations this week in regards to Atlanta, you might want to go check those videos out later today, later tonight, tomorrow. Save them, you know. Okay, let's just get into this. Okay. So they start off the reunion. As always, you know, Andy's going from room to room. I did think it was funny. My Taurus sister, Candy, she is not a morning person. I am a morning person. Candy says, "Yeah, I don't. What are you guys doing here? I don't play that in the morning. I don't play that in the morning." I was like, "Ooh, she's very direct. She's very direct." But when I'm in a mood, you'll know. You will know when Kempire is in a mood. Back up. I just got here. Why are there cameras in my face? Can we just talk about the dungeon theme? The dungeon theme is actually really beautiful. We didn't love all the outfits. We did a separate video talking about the fashions at the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. Look, I love the decor. The decor was really great. I love the display of the costumes that were worn that night in these like separate boxes. I still cringe every time I see Bolo's outfit. So Bolo was there in spirit. He didn't make it there in physical form, which I'm kind of glad. Look, I'm over the Bolo Strippergate situation, and I'm sure that entire time Portia would have been sweating. We're going to talk about Portia, Kenya, and so much more. Again, guys, if you have not subscribed, be sure to subscribe and like this video while you're watching. I have a few callers already in the backstage. I just want to set the scene for you. So all the ladies, we get to see all the outfits. We talked about the outfits already. I said we will have probably a different opinion about the outfits once we see them moving in it, once we see them sit in it. Not really. I didn't have much of a difference. I still think Kenya had a really great look. I still think that Portia had a really great look. Drew is still horrible. Candy, look, I understand Candy was really going for the theme, but you go for the theme, Candy, and then you remember where you're going. Then you go high fashion. High fashion. Okay. And as I said, Bolo was there in spirit. I just did they get the costume from Bolo, or they just recreated the costume? Or do they sell that at Party City? Because if they sell that at Party City, that might be my costume next year. Just saying. At the top of it, okay, can we talk about? I'm just talking quickly about the fashion before we get into all the nitty gritty of everything that went on at this reunion. So, Drew, again, I thought it couldn't get any worse. What was that in the back of Drew's head? The fake diamonds down the back. I mean, I probably wouldn't have hated that if she had a whole different outfit. It just seemed like you didn't know where you were going. You did not know where you were going. Anyways, we got to see the beautiful glitterati going down Kenya's neck. Portia looked, I mean, all of them looked great in what they had on, the all black look. Even Andy looked good in his little black suit. The decor was great. I love the contrast of the green chairs to their black outfits. Look, I'm just going over that first before we get into the nitty gritty. Okay, now let's get into the nitty gritty. Well, before we get into the nitty gritty, I do want to talk about the quarantine weight. And they started off with Candy. I thought it was funny. It was a cute little montage that they did. All of them gained weight. Look, I'm sure a lot of us gained weight during the quarantine. It is what it is. But it led into a conversation about Kenya downsizing her boobs, her losing the 30 pounds that she gained during the quarantine. But then conversation about her booty being fake. And she denies it. I don't know. Look, I don't know why people think that. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you, Dana. Sending out big love to everyone. Please hit that like button. Thank you for the reminder. I see so many people in the conversation. Okay. All right. I'm going to add some people to the conversation. Danielle is here. St. J is here.
Hey.
Welcome to the party, y'all. Yes. Let's get into it.
Let's take a step. Let's go.
Okay. I'm just going to backtrack just a little bit. Look, team Twirl's in the conversation. I'm going to post the link so that she can.
Stop it! Like, you're too over this. And Portia, we have totally watched Portia mature into some great things, because she was not the handle when she first started. So
oh my god, the backstage is getting real gully at this moment. I want to start at the top. We can skip over the quarantine weight and stuff like that. Let's talk about the good stuff that happened in this episode. At the top, they talk about the whole Black Lives Matter and Kenya questioning Portia's, activism. But I see that Kenya, maybe it was edited out, but she doesn't talk about that deleted scene. Did you guys notice that?
I'm sure they talked about the deleted scene. I'm sure they did.
And the way it was edited, it made it seem as if she was just questioning it for questioning its sake.
Shady editors. That's how they messed up the Potomac reunion.
I'm thinking because they didn't show that scene to begin with, the fact that they brought it up at the reunion is why they edited it out.
Captain Team Twirl's here, and she's got a fan.
Oh, with my props and everything.
Twirl with you. I'm Team Twirl with
my
you,
props
girl.
and everything.
Okay, look, Miriam, what were your thoughts on because at the very top, I didn't expect them to address the whole questioning Portia's Black Lives Matter protesting and things like that, and Kenya, not really. I mean, I don't know. Look, it could have been edited out, her addressing the deleted scene. But what were your thoughts on this reunion so far?
Potomac 2.0.
What do you mean by that?
They are protecting Portia, because the more they talk about it, the more she doesn't want to dig into it because of the deleted scene. The only reason she asked for the scene to be deleted is because it showed how petty she is, that she was so bored that she wasn't the first one that thought of going to the executives, which is basically the antithesis of what she's wanting to portray, that Black women should be all together. So she was really upset that Candy went first. She didn't want that there. And this is another instance where the Bravo behind Portia, they're just protecting her. So this is why they took it out. They took it out.
Leva says this: Candy's facial expressions when Portia was going on about her activism spoke volumes.
Yes, true.
It sure did. It told me everything I needed to know.
Oof.
Listen,
I mean,
let me tell you something.
Candy's expressions throughout the reunion were interesting. Even some of the things that she was saying. I just want to make notice. Dear Dana, thank you so much for the super chat. COVID weight is real. Kempire is killing it. Hit the likes. Thanks so much, Dana. Appreciate you.
I did.
I thought that was really interesting. I wonder if Candy will delve more into that beef, but I really don't think so. I think because it didn't air on the show, they're not going to address it in this reunion, which I think is trash.
Yeah, but they took it off. We know why. There is no reason why they took it out. It happened in front of cameras. Yet they choose sometimes to bring stuff that didn't happen in front of cameras, like the tweet that the retweet of Kenya. That's not on the show. That is on Twitter. But like they put the heat on her from the get-go. And Drew was looking as crazy as we thought she was last week. She keeps like impressing me with that. She's very good at showing how crazy she is.
Speaking of Drew, in regards to the Black Lives Matter, Portia did this PSA and she didn't include Kenya and she didn't include allegedly Candy or Toya. What are your thoughts on that, Danielle? And we'll come back to you, Captain Team Tour, because we kind of know where you're going to go. Danielle.
So I can understand not bringing Kenya along. For if you think about negative energy, Kenya, they don't care for each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand not inviting her for the negative energy. However, I do understand Kenya's point about being a bigger person.
Mm.
Give her credit for that. I personally wouldn't have invited her if I were on a platform and I wanted to ask, my colleagues to come. If you don't like me, why would I invite you to come do this with me? I think my personal opinion, Kenya just wanted to do it so she can say, hey, I did it too. And now she's trying to flip it to make it seem like, oh, you're so petty. You need to be the bigger person and grow up. Like, yeah. But at the same time, we don't like each other. And it's just bad energy. And we don't want that bad energy on set.
Let me play devil's advocate, because backtracking to that deleted scene, I know I keep bringing it up, but because I think it's important to the entire story. If we backtrack it to what Portia and Nene were intending for Candy to do, for all of them to go together, why not include everyone in your PSA?
Boom.
Boom. Boom.
I'm just playing devil's advocate. You know what I mean? Well, no, I always play devil, but
As far as the deleted scene, I feel like if they all agreed via text to go together, then they should have gone together, and Candy shouldn't have gone without them.
Well, there wasn't an agreement.
But there wasn't an agreement.
No, they were planning to do it, and Candy beat them to the punch.
Right.
Yeah,
No.
they didn't have a conversation beforehand. That conversation was after.
After. That conversation happened after, like, Candy told them, I went to the executives. Let's get together and do something together. This is where Portia is gaslighting everyone. And to your point, I agree with everything you said, Danielle. But this is the thing: when you are so protective of the image of the woman not fighting against each other because of Black Lives Matter movement, you don't get to pick and choose. Pick your lane. If that's the case, she should have included Ken, period, to show that she's not petty and that the Black Lives Matter movement is indeed bigger than anything that happened in the show. I really feel strongly about this. I feel like she's contradicting herself. She is speaking to protect Black Lives Matter and its aura only when it fits her purpose. But when it gets to Kenya, Kenya brings bad energy. So what is the energy that you're portraying when you're icing woman out? She knows how many people love Kenya. Like, I love Kenya. So I feel like, why are you excluding me and who I like in the show? If this is what you're talking, if what you're talking about is true, she is speaking like she just like talks about Black Lives Matter and women not fighting each other when it comes to the Candy issue, which makes her look bad. Do you get it? So this is when she picks and chooses. But then when it's Kenya, no, she wants the real reason why they didn't want Kenya to be in that backyard get together when she got released, and when she at the PSA and the group text, she wants to make Kenya irrelevant. Because this is the thing, if she acknowledges that Kenya is relevant, she would have brought her in. But it's all her plot to ice Kenya out. From the get-go.
One of the things that Portia said during the reunion, which I didn't like, because I hate the connotation, if you're not out there in the streets advocating or protesting, that you're not doing something.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't know necessarily what Kenya is doing, but I just don't like that messaging that Portia put out there in the reunion, that, oh, while I'm out there in the streets and you're on the side at the curb. No, everyone protests differently. Not everyone can be out there. She also has a child, and she decides whether or not she feels safe enough to go and protest. As we saw in a lot of these protests, people were getting hurt, people were getting arrested. And we've already said this multiple times over the last few weeks. Kenya does not have a village. She does not have a village. St. J, what are your thoughts on all of this?
Okay, so Kenya wouldn't have had Kenya wouldn't have had a way, like, someone to watch her child. Obviously, we're in a pandemic. She's testing out. Like, it was too many factors for Kenya to be out there. So you don't know how Kenya would have been protesting. That was my first thought when Portia made that statement. Mm-hmm. Furthermore, some of my favorite moments from Real Housewives of Atlanta is when the ladies come together for a cause, whether it been when they went to Flint, donating the money for the Detroit schools, when they show that something is bigger than whatever they have going on. Mm-hmm. I think that Portia dropped the ball with doing something that was for the greater good and not letting it be the greater good.
Mm-hmm. Is that it? That was it. Mm-hmm. All right. So we're gonna get back to talking about, because they do address the whole Native American situation, costume. So we will get back to that conversation. But they also address, that's why I feel like this part one covered a lot of areas. But there will be a part two and more than likely a part three. So in this part one, they do talk about Kenya filing for divorce, and then at him asking for alimony. She's saying now Mark is not asking for alimony. One thing I will do and promote, tomorrow, a new video with Femme Tower will be available. If you haven't seen the videos that I've been doing with Femme Tower, we've been doing the pulling tarot cards for some of your favorite celebrities, especially the housewives. We've done Jen Shaw. We did Nene Leakes last week. We did, we did Nene Leakes 2 weeks ago. And we did Teresa Giudice. We're doing Kenya Moore tomorrow. So be sure to subscribe to Femme Tarot's YouTube channel and check out that, because you're going to get a lot of clarity on why Kenya is the way she is, why Kenya's relationship with Mark has been so tumultuous. I asked all the questions that you want to know about Kenya Moore and the future of Kenya Moore on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. You might be surprised what Femme Tarot is seeing in the cards. So she talks about during the reunion that she is the one who filed for divorce. We already know it's been back and forth, but she says she has filed for divorce. She said now he's not asking for alimony. She also says in regards to why there's been so much distance in their relationship was mostly because of the pandemic. And she says that he's fighting for the wrong things. He's fighting for Brooklyn not to be on the show, which is tea that we talked about here on Kempire Daily and Kempire Radio. We talked about that tea that we're hearing that possibly Kenya might have a problem. Her peach is not secure for next season if Brooklyn is not on the show, allegedly. So she confirms in this reunion that the things, he's not fighting over custody. He's not fighting over any of those other issues. He's fighting on whether or not Brooklyn can appear on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Because I guess Brooklyn got a peach. I want to hear, okay, Captain Team Twirl, because Captain Team Twirl, I muted you. So you have to mute yourself when people are speaking, because I don't want any sort of like feedback. But I've unmuted you now.
Okay, so I feel so bad for Kenya, and I feel like she doesn't get any type of empathy from some of the girls, like Portia and Drew. Drew couldn't even hear her. Like it's like she got caught off guard when Kenya apologized to her, right? Like they can't. They are running on an agenda, just attack, and don't hear what she has to say. It's true. I agree with Kenya. He is fighting for the wrong things. He's not fighting for the custody of his kid. He is fighting for her not to be on the show because he doesn't want. He's trying to put an obstacle on how Kenya makes money, and this is a trait, for people who go on through a divorce. I can speak to that. I wasn't on reality TV, but my ex was making it really hard for me to have a full-time job because he would all of a sudden want to travel without giving me like a heads up. So I would have to scramble. My kids were young. How am I going to take care of them? And how can I still go to the city to my job? So then I told him, I said, listen, if I lose this job, I'm going to sit home and I'm going to fight. I'm going to ask for alimony in court because you are not letting me keep a job. So Mark could, of course he's doing that. I'm not, and here I'm not even attacking him. This is what they do. This is what people do when they are going through divorce. And then Portia, to be like posing herself as like she's up here and Kenya is down because her and Dennis are co-parenting. Well, their situation is different. Their situation is different.
That Andy brought that up. Portia.
Well, but we know why he brought that up because
I think
he's
he brought up a good
Portia.
point. I think he brought up a good point. All he did was ask Kenya, does he think that she and Mark could get to the same space where Portia and Dennis are? And Kenya went, well, I was married and that's not what he asked you. He was asking about co-parenting.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but
I think that's how her response sounded. Her response sounded as if she was in front of the judges, which technically she is, because she doesn't want to get the backlash on social media. She doesn't want to get any backlash, from Bravo or anybody else who is, proper Indian.
Yeah, before you continue, I just want to point something out. In that particular instance where Andy introduced that particular topic, I love how he had to throw out there that Bravo, released a statement saying, but Bravo also let Kenya go on TV and do that. I understand you guys want to call reality TV one minute, but edit other important areas out the other minute. I thought that was a little...
Well, wait a minute. To Cynthia's point, because I don't know if anybody caught, Cynthia said that all of us have made mistakes. If we take into consideration, prior to we just became this world where everyone is so sensitive about everything. That Indian costume has been on shows before and has been around before. We've seen it with the YMCA guys. That guy wore that headdress for years and no one ever said anything. And now all of a sudden we're in this place or this space of everyone is so sensitive about everything and everyone's feelings get hurt about everything. Not knocking people's feelings, but we are in a totally different space. And Cynthia mentioned that she was kind of over talked at that time.
As always. But you know what? But here's the thing. All of us were like, once we saw when we saw the teaser of Kenya in that costume, we already knew she was gonna get backlash. This is not new. This is not a new thing.
I did not think it. I did not think about it. I had no clue that she was going to get backlash from this until it actually happened. And when
maybe Bravo thought the same thing. Maybe Bravo thought the same thing, and they're clueless. And in their apology, I feel like they could have taken more ownership.
Yes, you just called me clueless, Shady, but I'm gonna catch it and take it and laugh around with it.
Wait, I didn't call you clueless.
Yes, you did. You just said, "Well, we Bravo clueless too." Yes, you did.
Look, I didn't mean it like that. You know it's all love. No, but I'm so sorry. No, I didn't mean it like that.
But no,
I didn't mean it like that. But no, what I'm saying is that.
But no, I am clueless because I didn't receive it like that. And there are a lot of things that I don't receive like that. I was raised as a kid that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But we're now living in a world where words hurt and people get offended. And they got to go to therapy. And it's so much. And I'm the person sitting on the side like, get over it. But that's not the world we live in. So I am clueless to a lot of things. And I will take complete ownership of that. And I view things differently than how other people view it. To me, Kenya's response was very politically
Pageanty.
correct, and it was perfect
Wow.
for. And I didn't agree with it. Even when she came on Twitter and was like, "Oh, I'm Native American." No, you're not, bitch. You Black.
Well, no, she in this reunion, she doubled down on that. She said, you know, she had some aunts that lived on a reservation. And in my head, I was like, well, they lived on the reservation. Were they Native American?
And that's exactly what I thought. Just because you had some aunties that might not even really be your aunties, just might be some respectful thing because they're a little older and you call them auntie because we got to put a title in front of everything. Does that really mean that they're your aunt?
That part. I don't feel the justification behind what she was saying.
No.
I didn't love that, but it led into another part of the conversation in regards to the whole, Saint J. I'm gonna have you weigh in because I love your little but I want to hear you. I want to hear your thoughts on this particular situation where Portia began to address Kenya's comments about the Underground Railroad.
I think that there are certain moments in Atlanta history that are just like, they're moments that are referenced. That Underground Railroad comment was so just like, girl, are you serious? It's still referenced. So and I think that somebody had to address that. Girl, just not too long ago, you didn't know what the Underground Railroad is. Now Andy's calling you Portia Luther King. Like, we have to.
And you know that you saw how the editors dug up that 7-year-old video.
Yep, like we have to address, like, this happened. Like, this was a
but they didn't dig up that deleted scene. Okay.
Wow.
Shady editors.
I'm just saying.
But to the apology, I think that what I love about Kenya is that she will apologize. What I dislike about Kenya from time to time is how her apology was an apology, but it also included a lot of deflection. As she was saying, yeah, I did it. I shouldn't have done it. Portia, your sister did it. Drew, I saw a picture of you in it. I was like, yeah, girl, you're apologizing, but you're just supposed to apologize when you're apologizing.
And that's the part that makes me go against Kenya, because to Saint's point, she always tries to deflect, or she finds a justification of why she did what she did within her apology. And that, to me, that's not a genuine apology. It's almost like, I apologize, but ... No, that's not an apology.
Okay, to this point. So really, I'm glad I picked this as my prop.
Yes, I'm glad you did. I love when someone comes with props.
Yeah, well, can you remember she brought to the reunion?
Yes, they talked about that.
Yeah,
they insinuated that with Candy in this episode. I thought that was cute.
So here's the thing. Portia has a problem with people digging stuff that happens years ago. Yet she inserted again, like when she made that ignorant comment about the railroad. Okay, and another thing. So when they were trying to check Kenya, they were talking as if they have never done the same mistake. The same mistake. Yes, she should. Yeah, it wasn't deflection. You can say it was a what about, but it was a what about on theme. You here are saying, shouldn't you know better? Well, shouldn't you have known better, Drew and Portia's sister, when you guys wore the same costume? So now,
in all fairness, Drew did say that wasn't a costume. It was in celebration.
It was hashtag Halloween. It was a Halloween party in a family.
She said it wasn't Halloween in this reunion.
Well,
I'm just repeating what she said. I'm repeating what Drew said. She denied it being a Halloween costume. She said it wasn't for Halloween.
Come on, Drew, she lies. She lies to her ways. Come on. Drew, she was lying because it was hashtag Halloween party. And then Cynthia jumped and said, we all made mistakes in costumes at some point, which I heard Cynthia, although everybody was trying to talk over her. So
I'm glad somebody heard Cynthia.
Listen, I'm sick and tired of the double standard. Like, you are attacking Kenya, portraying yourself as if you're perfect, and you are not, and you are not. So if you want to ask from Kenya to wish that people be better, do the same yourself. So don't ask from Kenya what you yourself don't do towards her. Kill her with kindness. How about that, Portia? And Portia, her mistake was ignorant beyond, because of her family legacy. Like, who would have thought that Portia wouldn't know that? We would think that was embedded in the milk she drank when she was
Oh,
young, just
damn.
because of her grandfather. You know?
Okay, I want to move on because we're already past 30 minutes on this live. For those that are watching, be sure to like this video if you haven't already. And for those that are watching this video after the live, let us know your thoughts. I know you can't agree with all of us, but we want to hear your thoughts. I love a healthy debate where we're not degrading each other. Commenters currently watching the live, FYI. I want to move on though, because this is only part one of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. But like I said, I felt like they covered a lot. But they did cover Ralph and his Tampa trip, 3 days. I'm going to go to St. J this time, and I want to hear, St. J, what were your thoughts on Ralph's response and Drew's defense of Ralph in that particular situation?
Okay, so my understanding, when I've taken people out, if I pay for everyone at the table, it says one. It says one. Like the ticket will say one because it's one person. They're not breaking the ticket. It's one person paying. If I go get a hotel room, I mean, yeah, anybody can manifest receipts for a hotel room. What that says he was by himself?
Damn.
And
usually men who cheat pay cash.
Oh, okay.
That's what my dad always told me. He said, "Do it in cash if you don't want to trace."
Oh my. Okay, I didn't even think about that. You can tell I don't go out often.
Furthermore, he went on a run.
Or you don't cheat.
And I definitely don't cheat. Alik, thank you so much for the super chat. Definitely appreciate your support of the channel. Okay, St. J, thank you for that clarification.
And lastly,
go ahead.
The run. I'm not understanding. Like, that was the weirdest thing for her to bring up. I didn't understand what that was supposed to prove. I go on runs with people all the time. It just drew this. The defense of it further down on my belief of it that the story is fake.
The truth, the truth says this: the Tampa storyline is fake. Drew is acting. Well, that's a bad storyline. That makes sense. That's consistent with Drew. And her fake storyline, Essence says, they went too easy on Ralph. I expected Andy to question him like he questioned Kenya.
There you go.
Okay, I'm Team Twirl. Calm down. We'll get to you in a second. I'm going to mute you for a second. Danielle, what were your thoughts on the whole Ralph questioning in Tampa?
I caught the same thing Saint caught when they mentioned the receipts.
Yeah. Oof.
I was like, oh, that wasn't good. And I feel like at some point they should have been prepared. They knew this was coming. I guess that was their way of trying to prepare. That's what they thought they were coming with.
Yeah, they thought they I mean, they would have got me too, because like I said, I don't go out to eat a lot and I don't pay attention to the receipts like that. And I guess that makes sense. If you're the one paying, especially if you're taking your jump off, she's not going to pay, or he. No judgments. But then that would make sense. And then the run thing, that didn't make sense. I'm like, you can go running with someone else.
So yes, Big Daddy and I, we share our little app while workout stuff because we're sharing our daily workout. That's what we do. But we're not sharing it with each other to prove, oh, I was really at the gym or I was really working out just to say that I wasn't cheating on you. Like, the whole lie was a lie and a stretch. And
do you think it's a fake storyline made up by Drew to make herself a little bit more interesting on the show?
Then I never thought about it like that. I really thought that he had gone somewhere and he could potentially
Me too, girl.
But to your point, they could be that boring where they thought that this was going to be a good storyline for them.
Oof. All right. I'm gonna go to Captain Team Twirl. Captain Team Twirl, what are your thoughts on this? Oh wait, say it again, St. James. What did you say?
I just wouldn't want to I want to believe it's fake because of how just bad it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to believe that in my mind that Drew wouldn't hold her man accountable like that. Like I don't want to believe that Drew's a doormat. So I have to believe it's fake because it's like it has to be one or the other.
Mm-hmm. I want to read this comment. Badar. Hey, Badar. Badar always comes through and shows support. If I had a fake storyline, it wouldn't be about my husband disappearing for days. It would make me look bad, but I don't get it at all. Same. Same. Okay, Captain Teen Twirl.
Well,
And I'm sure you used some Kenya more hair care before you came on tonight. The hair is
oh,
on
yeah.
fleek.
He is
Thank
giving me
you.
hair tonight. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I'm working for being an ambassador. I really am. Well, I digress. Listen, uh, Drew and her husband looked exactly like two friends who agree on what they're gonna say, so that they're on the same page in front of people. They knew he was going to be questioned about that. And if you guys didn't notice, but wasn't Drew all the time inserting herself, not letting her husband speak all the time? She's the one who brought up the running app. Like it's like he was forgetting the points that
She
they
spoke
agreed
more
on.
about it.
Yes, he was forgetting what they agreed on, and as soon as she would mention something, he would say, "Yeah, yeah." Well, let's face it. Like he can go to a restaurant and ask Mark as one guest, or he can say, "I want to pay partially, so that it shows that I was here alone, and pay the other, like whoever was with him, cash." But we know that this is where everybody's having a struggle with. Did they? Someone is lying. Either both
Someone is
of them.
lying.
Someone is lying.
Well, I
Either
wouldn't put
both of them.
I wouldn't put it past Drew to come up with a fake storyline, because let me just say this: throughout the season, especially after that particular scene that was just so detrimental, I felt like they were trying to make us believe that their relationship was one way. It just seemed very forced. I want to read this. Sophia says, "Who cares what Ralph does? It's not interesting because Drew's in the story."
Whoa. Yeah. So.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
she wanted a storyline, and she threw everything, and she was looking like what is going to stick on the wall. She
Yeah.
threw everything. She threw her mom in the mix. She threw him going to Tampa in the mix. She threw her son in the mix. Which, honestly, listen, the only part that I liked was what was Ralph's part in that whole story. But at the end of the day, as a mother, I don't want to subject my son, who's extremely young, to that situation on camera. That was I'm there with Kenya all the way.
I want to talk
because
about that in a
Teen
second.
Twirl.
I want to talk about that. Hold that thought. I want to talk about that. I'm going to bring up Brianna because I want to hear what Brianna has to say. Hey, Brianna, how are you?
Hey, how are you guys?
You're fantastic. What are your thoughts on anything in regards to the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion, part 1?
I agree with Captain Team Twirl, but
Oh,
I agree with most of her points. I think that the storyline, hearing Ralph's final explanation for something he could have said weeks ago in the moment. Baby, here's the receipts to the hotel. Here's where I was. Here's a dinner slip. It was like now watching Drew through the whole season, she is, because she's working for that peach. They don't find out. My understanding is they don't find out whether they are getting a peach or not until, at some point towards the end of the season, or after they've been wrapped filming. Essentially, they don't find out that peach. So looking through each of her story arcs, I can really see how calculated most of her story arcs are.
wow.
She gives me very much, I will sell everyone around me soul, like to get on.
You getting deep with it.
I'm just saying what I've observed.
No, and I appreciate the observation because I didn't even think about it this way, but keep going.
I'm starting to see really those things for what they are, starting with from the very, I really liked her when she first came on. I was like, I like her. She's spicy. She's gonna, stand on her own. But then I really saw her. She knows who to start problems with. And that was to solidify her place on the show. From the moment where we saw her, Kenya telling her she was going to get the private jet, she had no problem with it. I almost think she may have even told her that she was flying down with Brooklyn and LaToya. But then when she told the ladies, or told her don't tell the ladies, she immediately told the ladies, and then also acted as if she was upset about the jet and the baby along with the other ladies. And from that moment, it's been this start with Kenya. The reunion tonight really showed me that Kenya really is the key to getting a peach. Everyone knows that having an issue with Kenya will get you the most airtime. And aside from her being Portia's lapdog, it was the everything Kenya said. Drew acted as if everything Kenya said was just so heartbreaking and demoralizing and has just hurt her feelings so much, as if I just don't feel like if you can't hang with the best of them, then you probably shouldn't throw shade, because Drew threw a lot of shade at Kenya, but she acts as though she can't handle Kenya giving her that same energy, and the whole "I will never forgive you" to this day.
Yeah,
like,
let's talk about that specific issue, because I know Miriam wants to weigh in on this, because we all wondered what that moment was because they include that in the preview of the reunion, and it was about Kenya retweeting a fan that was saying it was cringy watching the whole old daddy situation play out. First of all, the fact that they kept on repeating old daddy during the reunion, during the season, I felt like someone needed to stop them and stop referring to this man as old daddy.
Listen,
but
Drew
backtracking,
very weird to me.
Drew got very upset that she was retweeting that. I didn't see a problem with Kenya retweeting what the person was saying, because so many of you have called in or commented when we've been talking about this issue and saying that this should not be on reality TV. I was the one playing devil's advocate this week saying, well, this is her real story. But the fact that she was getting so upset that people calling it cringy, people were uncomfortable with it. And even Kenya said that she was very uncomfortable.
She said, my opinion does not change. She said, I'm sorry that, it offended you that I retweeted it, but my opinion does not change. And it's not like Kenya made the tweet herself. She simply, weighed on what she thought of that scene. We were all thinking of it. And the old daddy and new daddy, to me, is very cringy in itself, because I feel that you're kind of almost teaching your child to forget about this person. They're old news. They're in the past. That's very weird to me. And I don't know that I would tolerate my child's mother addressing me as old daddy. I just think that's Drew is overall shown to be very weird to me, from the pastor situation, and even that really showed me that really
to her. I wasn't talking about your child, but you talked about Mark, and then Portia chimed in and she said, but Mark is the father of my child. So we stop saying if you talk about the father of a child, you're not affecting a child. And I wasn't talking about your child. You know what I mean? And another thing here is
that Miriam, we gotta give other people an opportunity to have to weigh in. You can go back. All right, Danielle, I see you have thoughts.
I do have thoughts. So I agree with the young lady Brianna on some parts. I think Drew is weird. Definitely, I agree with that, because she's shown us that she's not who we thought she was. I didn't find that storyline cringing to watch. What I did find cringy was the old daddy piece. Like,
that's the part for me too.
That did it for me, because to me, what she was doing with that storyline was no different than what Candy used to do with Riley and Locke. So, and I think it's an opportunity to show other people, hey, everyone goes through this. Not everyone, but there's a large amount of families that go through biological fathers versus stepfathers, and sometimes the biological father might not be around. The stepfather's totally stepped up to the plate and is playing this great part. But that whole old daddy thing, especially if he's right there in the child's life or trying to be a part of that child's life.
Well, that's questionable, because up from taping that scene, he hadn't seen his son, and I know he doesn't live in the state of Georgia, but he hadn't seen his son until like around his birthday, which was around the time they filmed this.
I need that part to be defined. Does it mean I haven't seen him physically because I live 5 states away, or is it 2 hours away where I could have drove, or have I seen him on FaceTime? I need to find before I even pass judgment.
I think he's in California.
So therefore, you got time zone.
I thought he was in Chicago.
Oh. I have no idea what this man is.
Right. Before I even make a voice an opinion about that part,
He lives in Los Angeles. Someone just said in the chat he lives in Los Angeles. I knew something was associated with California.
But the fact that he flew to Atlanta to help for this storyline, I mean, that speaks to, because even if he hasn't spoken to the kid in a while or whatever, and it could be money, Miriam. At the end of the day, it's still going to be money that goes into his baby mama's pocket to help support that child, whether it is money.
But you know what they did say during that whole episode, that the whole setting up of phone conversations, he was falling back on. Look, I'm not going to give this man a free pass. He should be at the very least trying to develop a relationship. Even if he's not in the same state, he should definitely be trying to work on at least having a phone relationship until he's actually there. Absolutely. This playing out on television, like I said this past week, look, I get it. And even Drew reiterated this. There are a lot of women that can relate to her storyline. I'm okay with them sharing this, but if it's a desperate attempt at Drew to secure her peach on the show, I don't know. That is a little cringy that you're going to use your son to do that. But at the same time, you also need to keep a roof over your son's head.
So here's the other piece about what Brianna said that I never thought about that I don't like. When she said that to keep the peach is to create beef with Kenya. As much as I don't like the person that I see Kenya to be on the show, I don't like to hear that. Like, I don't think that's cool. It's because that means now everyone is going to be creating foolishness and foolish hate just to be on the show, just like hate against Kenya just to be on the show. And that's what it really is. I don't like that. And I don't hate Kenya. And I think hate is such a strong word.
Yeah.
But I'm not Kenya's biggest fan, but
you're not? I couldn't tell.
I just want Kenya to be a little bit more honest. And I know Miriam doesn't like that. She thinks that Kenya's so honest, but I don't like hearing that. And I'm just going to plug again.
I did a reading of Kenya with Fem Tarot on the Fem Tarot's YouTube. That will be available tomorrow. Subscribe, hit your notification bell so you can see it, because all the questions and, you know, the things that we've been saying about Kenya over the years, I got a lot of clarification. I was asking all the questions I think you guys wanted answered.
Real?
Say again?
Did you ask if her butt was real?
I didn't ask that.
Yeah.
Because I also don't think that was the direction we were trying to go, especially with that. I want to take another caller. Kimberly, what's going on?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
What are your thoughts on this first reunion?
My thoughts is Drew is a liar. She said something that she shouldn't know. So I believe that she's working for a production, and maybe that's how she's trying to secure her next season.
Oh.
The last episode when they were at the Christmas party at Cynthia's house, she mentioned about them making fun of the wig. And then she talked about the actual wig. Now, she wouldn't have been able to know that unless someone told her prior to seeing the episode, because she had already shot the Christmas episode. So she couldn't have went back and seen it unless production told her. She actually had the Pacific wig.
It wasn't this, though. Remember, there was a lot of stop and starts with the season. So it could have been, I'm not too sure. But
they wouldn't have viewed the episode. They wouldn't have viewed the episode. Now, what's the name? Toya talked about the wig. She told Portia about the wig, but she didn't say the exact wig. She just said all of her wigs are a mess and they're never laid right. But Drew bought that wig, the Pacific wig that they called a cat, from that episode. So somebody had to tell her. And then tonight she said the only reason she spoke about Kenya's marriage is because Kenya called her a stray. That was the first episode. How did she see that to talk about Kenya's marriage if that hadn't aired yet? Somebody had to tell her that. Drew is so horrible. Actress.
Well, I also wouldn't put it past. I wouldn't put it past producers to tell them that to cause drama.
Yes, and that's why I believe she's the one who leaked the story to Page Six. I believe she's doing anything to keep her job.
But wait a minute, Kimberly, you got to remember, by the time they filmed the reunion, they've already seen some of the episodes on television.
I know, but when they asked her, why did you speak of Kenya's marriage? She said, the only reason I talked about Kenya's marriage is because she called me and my husband a stray. She wouldn't have known that. That was the first episode when they walked in through Cynthia's house and the guys went off and talked together. Kenya's made that comment, which Kenya always makes, but because she made it about Eva for some reason. But she made that comment. She wouldn't have known that. She wouldn't have known that. I think Drew's doing anything she can to keep that peach. She was doing
I
that
think we
fake
can all
crying.
agree with that. I think there's a lot of signs of Drew doing a lot of behavior throughout this season where it shows desperation to have a peach. Kimberly, just to kind of give an overview, what were some other moments from part one that stuck out to you? Because there was a lot in part one.
Well, I don't know. It was just weird. And then when Candy knows a lot, which really bothers me about Candy, but she never wants to just say what she knows because she knows something about Drew and Ralph's marriage. Because remember when Ralph was on Speak On It with Don Juan? The following episode, Don Juan was saying him and Ralph had a conversation about everything that happened when they went on the trip and him leaving and stuff like that. And I know Don Juan went right back and told Candy, because when Ralph was talking about his receipts and this, that, and other, can't you see Candy's face giving him the side eye?
Yeah, Candy did not.
Whenever she gives that Mama Joyce look, she knows something and she just don't want to say it.
Not that Mama Joyce look.
You can tell when Candy gets that look, she's either mad, she's hungry, or she got some good information that she don't want to give.
Not hungry, Kimberly.
She is. You can tell whenever Candy do that.
Candy definitely. We need to just have one little camera on throughout the entire reunion, just on Candy, because I do believe Candy knows where the bodies are buried, and she's holding that, close to the chest. But you're right about the whole Ralph situation. I feel like not only does she not believe Ralph, I think she might know more than she's letting us know.
Yeah, because him, Todd, and Don Juan said they hung out after to Speak On with them together. And Don Juan said he continued to press him for information.
Do you think that Ralph cheated on Drew?
I did at the beginning, but now I don't. I think Ralph is just as goofy and weird as Drew, and they fit perfect together. I think they needed money. They wanted to get that bigger house, and they tried before, didn't get on the show because she's basic. My life is more fascinating than Drew. My wigs are better laid than Drew. My clothes are better. Fashion Nova keeps me dressed nice, and it doesn't keep her dressed nice. She should have went and got some Fashion Nova clothes, got her some wigs. Wig dealer makes good wigs. She could have used that.
Yes, for the Fashion Nova.
But she could have dressed nice. She would have looked nice for her first season until she got some money.
Oh man!
No, stop. My friend styles her. Stop.
What? Your friend styles her? St. J, you don't shut up.
Well, you got to get on your friend and say your friend.
I'm so serious. Oh God.
Wait. St. J, explain. So your friend, who's your friend? St. Joe, don't be muting your mic, St. J. We're talking to you. Your friend styles Drew Sidora?
Because yes, he does. She said it.
Was your friend mad at her
during the reunion, right? Is that your friend you mentioned?
So my understanding is he started styling her once her leg healed mid-season.
Okay. Now we're gonna have to go back and look at some of those looks. Did he style her for the reunion?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Did he give her those granny panties she had on at the Christmas party?
Okay, Kimberly. Yeah. Any other thoughts before I let you go?
Yeah, I just don't like Drew. She's just so cheap. She could just be on a regular show. She doesn't give me no glamour. I mean, I don't really care for Portia, but at least she does give glamour. She gives story. Even when Portia's lying, it's interesting. Like Drew's lies are just crazy and sad. And they call Cynthia boring. I'd rather watch an hour of Cynthia than 2 minutes of Drew.
Look, when you put it like that, you got me there. Kimberly, you got to call back in again, please. You are hilarious.
Oh, I will. I always try to call in, but I don't know. My camera always messes up, and I never get through.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I appreciate you calling in tonight because you had me on the floor. If I could be on the floor right now, I'd be on the floor. Thank you so much for calling in.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
I agree so much with her. I agree so much with her.
We already know you agree with her. I'm going to take T. Maria.
But you know why? I'm talking about production.
Oh, no. I'm going to give other people an opportunity to call in and share their thoughts. Yeah. T. Maria, what are your thoughts? How are you?
Hi. I'm doing fine. Well, I'm calling from Jamaica, so we Caribbean people. Yeah, well, they are. I think that Drew is just desperate I don't think that she came up with this idea. I actually think that maybe Portia said, "Girl, you need to do this or that to come back next season because Latoya is coming for that peach." So I
Mm,
definitely think that she got some influence somewhere.
okay.
Also, I kind of love Kenya because she she speaks what's on her mind,
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't like her because well, she doesn't have a filter.
Yeah.
And some of us love people that don't have filters. I do love Candy, but Candy knows too much. Candy, she probably need to reach out to Monique and say, Monique, you know what? We need to get a book or something or a folder because Candy is the one that has everybody's business out here. Also,
Mm,
I did love Portia, but what I did think that Portia is just a liar. She is
mm,
just a liar. She always pretend as if she wants to be the bigger and better person. And I
mm,
have watched Candy's show, and Candy did say at one point that she always send out invites to everybody. Now, if she was cool with Candy, she would have been on speak on it. That's what I
mm.
think. She was cool with Candy, she would have speak on it and get those rumors shut down from the beginning. That's what I
Mm.
think. So
That's
I think that she's just two-faced because
Portia has never
she
done.
didn't. Pardon
Yeah,
me?
Portia's never been on Speak, and Candy has said recently that all of the ladies are invited to be on Speak on it, and all of them
Exactly.
have been
That's
on,
what I
right?
was
Except
saying.
Portia and Nene,
Portia,
of course.
yes.
And Marlo, I believe.
Why not Marlo? I find that interesting because they do have a good friendship.
Yes, that's what I was thinking because I was like, if these are not true, then try to fix it then. Try to fix it, not let it blow out of proportion, and then you're gonna come and say that Kenny's this and Candy's not speaking up. Well, you're not speaking up. That's what I
Mm,
feel about the situation. So um I still like her, but I don't think that she's being truthful. And I think that why Candy wasn't talking about the Bolo situation, she did say that, remember that Bolo also have a life outside of his
mm,
stripping. So I think that Candy was protecting Bolo. So that's why she
yes.
doesn't really want to speak on that situation, because she did say that, well, she's doing another, I'm not sure what it is, and Bolo is also a part of it. So I think that she don't want to come for Bolo and then lose all of her bag then. That's
Okay.
what I
All
think.
right.
But I think that if Candy would have spilled the beans, but she's protecting her bag.
That makes a lot of sense to me. What about, the end of this reunion? We got a little bit of Latoya. What are your thoughts on Latoya? Do you want Latoya to come back next season?
I do want to see Latoya because she also represents the Caribbean, and we
Mm,
I like Latoya because she is a little bit crazy, but she's also fun. Um, so I do like Latoya. I want to see her back next.
including some reality TV recaps as well. We're also live on the Kempire Radio YouTube channel. That is the podcast. Our new episode came out Friday where we talk about some of your favorite hot topics as well, but in a more uncensored way. So be sure to check that out as well. I want to give a shout out to everyone in the chat. We're not done just yet. We have a couple of more minutes I want to talk about Latoya. Her very brief moment. She talks about what we reported on a couple of weeks ago in regards to the things that happened at the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. And Drew's barber going into Latoya's dressing room to give her vitamin C and recording it at the same time. I'm going to go to Danielle. Thoughts on Latoya's very short appearance in part 1 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion?
I didn't know what to think with that because didn't she tell Andy she was having some type of liver something or something or another?
Kidney infection. Not liver.
I knew she mentioned some kind of organ, and I didn't know what to take of that. I didn't, because, so let me back up. When it was actually happened, when everybody was like, "Oh, Latoya's not going, she's faking like she's 65," so that was all over social media. So of course I ran to Toya's page. We could see her. She's looking sick. She's laying down like, "Oh, you guys don't feel good." So I didn't know what to think. And honestly, the first thing I thought was like, "Oh Lord, does she have COVID?" That's the first thing I thought.
Yeah,
because
I think everybody thinks that now.
Right. But when I saw it happen, and she was like, "Oh, I just need a hug," but she was like, "No, it's kidney." And now I don't know what to think.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think. I'm just disappointed with Toya. I like Toya's, I'm not going to say aggressiveness, because I feel like sometimes it was just at the wrong time. But because I've told you this before, I've been watching Toya since before when she was pregnant with the first baby. So
yeah,
I am a hunty and hunkle. So I like her. I think she's adorable, but she was just a little disappointing on the show. So again, this is something I'm looking forward to see what comes up or what she says next week. I will say that SpongeBob comment.
As soon as she came out.
And now I think that's the part I do enjoy about her. She comes out guns blazing, and at the same time, I feel like sometimes I want her to tone it back a little bit. It's bad timing sometimes.
I have a question to
Vanity said this in the comments. She had a UTI, and it's not uncommon for that to be related to a kidney infection. And Drew didn't deny that the incident happened. She actually confirmed that it did happen, and that person was told to leave. What was that? I'm going to ask St. J about that. St. J, what were your thoughts on just a very brief moment that we got with Latoya and that whole vitamin C incident?
I echo the same sentiments as the chat. We're all sick of Drew. That's point one. Point two. Drew was, when Toya was saying it, Drew was sitting there. Drew looked like she was going to lie. Like her whole face and body language gave, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm so sorry that happened. I apologize on behalf of that person." I'm like, Drew, you know, you put that person to leave. So down and dirty.
That was a little strange to me, that whole interaction.
Yeah.
Miriam, we know you have thoughts. Sorry. Go ahead. Wait, go ahead, St. J. Finish.
I think that based off of what Toya said happened, Toya had every right to come out there guns blazing for it. The same way she has all season.
Captain Team Toro, thoughts on that situation?
I'm Team Latoya here.
Oh, should I change your name?
No, you can't change my name. To be honest with you, it was my favorite part of the reunion when she came.
Oh, and it was just like 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Just because I felt like they brought up so many subjects and they didn't dig deeper into each. So this is why I'm thinking, oh, is there a part 3? Why? I'm just right there with you. But then again, wasn't this out of line for Drew to send someone into her dressing room with the phone recording her? Can we address this elephant?
Absolutely.
This is the elephant. It's not like what Drew had, like, okay, we're all confused what she had, but then the way she answered Andy was so endearing and funny. She goes, "Andy, I have everything. I have the flu, I have a UTI, I have everything. I'm going through it, okay? I'm going through it." It was very funny. And she, she didn't deny, she caught the shade of Andy without, giving it back to him in a funny way. But the real, elephant in the room, how dare you? I'm going to throw her lines back to her. How dare you? I'm so disappointed in you. Drew, you sent someone to a woman's dressing room, taping her. That is completely out of line. For me, that is a line that nobody should cross, because she started it, then everybody's going to do it. And Bravo needs to address that, saying nobody is to, in whatsoever way, to go into anybody's dressing room. It doesn't need to be with you, anyone from your camp. Just like they tell all the ladies, because of the altercation when Portia did what she did to Kenya, provoked, not provoked. I don't care at this point. They were both provoking each other, and I wish Portia never did that, but she did. And since then, nobody is allowed to get off their chairs. And now there's another stipulation. Nobody, even from their camp, is allowed to go barging in anybody's dressing room. That was horrible for me.
Especially in the middle of a pandemic. One thing I forgot to mention, because this was Ralph's barber. Ralph's barber should have been kicked out just for giving Ralph that that I forget what they call it, but the whole darkening of his hair and beard. I was like, come on, that is so 2012. What the hell?
Do a monkey bridge in here.
Yeah, of course, Danielle.
So to St. Jay's point, we saw the lie forming in Drew's head on her face.
Oh damn.
Now let's play what if, because I feel like Drew was going to come back and say, well, what if she said, oh, well, I heard she was sick. I just wanted, to give her some support, trying to extend an olive branch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that would have worked if Drew went and took the vitamin C. If you were very sincere about trying to do something, because I feel like that's the lie that Drew would have said if she would have opened her mouth. Because we saw the lie calculating on her face.
Mm-hmm.
She just didn't open up her mouth and let it come out. But if she was really trying to be this God-fearing person that she tries to portray herself to be, she would have taken the vitamin C herself and extended that olive branch.
You got a good point. Danielle, I want to wrap this up. Are you looking forward to part 2? I know you at the top you said you were, but now that we've broken it down.
So yes, wait, I just thought of something. This is why I'm looking forward to part 2. And then I'm going to piggyback around something else that you forgot to bring up today.
Oh, what?
You forgot to bring up when they asked Kenya about her making comments about Ralph and how she used to do about Apollo and what she said. I thought that was very interesting that they brought all that up.
I didn't. I feel like that's just their MO because it's been the narrative for Kenya for so long.
It has been the narrative, but Kenya's response was a little surprising. She said she regrets saying that because her and Phaedra weren't friends.
Mm.
Okay, I get that. Because at first they started out as friends and then it got bad with the whole videotape relationship. I get it. But you and Drew were never friends. So why would you so you don't regret making the comments about her husband?
How do we feel about that in general? Let's take these people
Ralph is cute.
How do we feel about that? Danielle, what are you like?
I think I don't mind anyone talking about my man as long as you don't touch him, because that just makes me stick my chest out a little further. Because
I don't see an issue with that. I didn't see an issue with it back in the day either. With when Kenya said it about Apollo, because I was saying it.
I don't knock Kenya for saying that, but I get what she's saying when she's like, "I wasn't Phaedra's friend." It does sit different when it's coming from someone that you don't get along with. Like if you're my girl, I know you're not gonna sleep with my man. But when it comes to someone,
not necessarily.
me and my girlfriends don't roll like that, so we don't even.
But I know some hoes that do.
On your side of town, I don't want to have nothing to do with them because me and my girlfriends don't even date each other's siblings. We don't get down like that. We're like our siblings. Like if you're my girlfriend, your brother is like my brother. So we don't even go that far. But that's just our little circle. But I get what Kenya was saying, where she and Phaedra weren't friends, so it makes it uncomfortable. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. You left it out. But the piece that I'm looking for,
maybe because I don't see it such as a big issue, and I'm tired of them continuously bringing up what she said about Phaedra's husband how many years ago. I was saying the same thing. But look,
if we talk real talk, Phaedra's husband is Kenya's type. That's what she likes, and I get it. Apollo is cute, but the part I'm looking for.
You know what they say.
When Shamia comes on and she says to Marlo about her outfit looking like she just came straight out of lipo.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see that go down.
But seeing Shamia's look live in movement,
horrible.
Shamia, it looked worse than it did in the picture. And I like Shamia, but ooh.
Yes.
Say, please don't tell us that your friend styled Shamia too.
You know what?
No.
Thank God.
Okay, all right. So Danielle, any other thoughts? Because we're wrapping it up.
No, I think I can't wait to do this again next week.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Part 2 is next week. St. J, thoughts. Last minute thoughts. Rounding it out.
Okay.
And tell your friend we're sorry,
Last
but
minute thoughts.
you wait, St. J, before you St. J, before you say your thoughts. In regards to your friend, I will say this as an artist. When you don't have the inspiration in front of you, sometimes it doesn't bring out your best work. Just saying.
Drew needs a miracle.
I don't even know.
Share your thoughts on part 1 overall, and if
I-
you're looking forward to next week.
Okay. I am looking forward to next. Okay. I'm looking forward to next week, but knowing how the Housewives thing works, I know that next one of the episodes has to be complete fluff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, are we going part 2 fluff, or are we going part 3 fluff? And I'm pretty sure it's part 2. So
Really?
that's making me nervous. Yeah, because that's just how it goes. I think that Drew, it was gross because it was somebody on her team. It didn't matter. There was no explanation. And if you were giving Toya an olive branch, give Toya an olive branch. If you're because that person is on your team, you did it automatically. Like they are representing you. Ralph is your husband. You said it don't matter if you did or didn't. They did it on your behalf. You sent them. I think that also, in my conclusion, there was a lot of Nene-isms in Kenya and Portia this part, and I don't know if you guys felt that way too, but I felt like they were giving me a lot of Nene. Like the banter between Kenya and Portia, I saw a lot of Nene in that. Specifically on the way Portia was like kind of shutting herself down mid-reunion. I was like, I've seen this a time or two from somebody else.
But the difference is, and this is what makes Nene so great, she made it funny. It was funny. It was enjoyable to watch. And she didn't, Nene in recent years has shut down, but the classic Nene moments really were enjoyable to watch. You would look back on them like, yes, Nene. But it was just like, it seemed as if Portia was bored from the part 1. So God only knows what part 2 and part 3 are going to be like.
Portia's pulling her inspiration from the wrong Nene eras, because they gave me that season 11 reunion when all the girls came at Nene and Nene just sat there and played with her eyelashes.
Oh. All right. I'm looking forward to next week as well. I disagree with you, St. J. I think part 2 will be interesting, especially because this is Latoya's moment to step up and step out. So I think she's going to do that for part 2. And I keep forgetting, we have to still talk about Bolo. We still have to talk about the Prophet. Look, part 2 and part 3 might be lit. Captain Team Twirl, thoughts overall of part 1, and if you're looking forward to next week, and what you think. Do you think part 2 and part 3 will be fluff, or
Well, it all depends on if they dig deep into it. Just touching and
choose your words wisely over here, Miriam.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyhow, just about Drew, she pretending to be extending the olive branch. Did we forget her last engagement with Latoya? What was? She had to be pulled back by I don't know how many producers not to attack her. So if you really wanna extend the olive branch, would you wait for the reunion? Wouldn't you go home, talk with your mother, the priestess, and acknowledge that what you did was out of line, was wrong? This is when we know if someone's intentions are true or not. And I'm looking forward because of Latoya. For me, today's reunion could have started at the last 2 minutes when Latoya came. Because for me, this is where she came right away because she knew she's not going to stay there long. She didn't have time to lose. And this is where it shows she's a strategic. She's the epitome of work smart, not work hard, and you will get the peach. And I'm hoping, even the way that Andy was talking to her, I feel like there is an endearment there. And I'm really even more hopeful that she will get a peach. Latoya. Next season. Yeah. And I hope, resolution, like when they're gonna talk about Bolo, because there's a scene that Portia, she's like, poor, like, yes, it's all me. She wanted so much to show her recycled dress from Cynthia's wedding, and she had to walk there.
Tell me your team twirl without telling me your team twirl.
I just did. I just did.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, St. J. Thank you, Captain Team Twirl, aka Miriam. Again, next week we'll be live here on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel and live on the Kempire Radio YouTube channel, and of course my other platforms, wherever you want to watch. If it's Facebook, the Kempire Radio Network on Facebook, and also we're live on Twitch at the Kempire and on Periscope. Yeah, Periscope is still around, y'all. Who knew? Anyways, if you have not already, be sure to like this video. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Again, I want to thank Danielle, St. J, and Miriam for being here. I appreciate all of you. And again, shout out to the chat room. Thank you to all of my super chats. Thank you to all of my commenters. And look, I don't care if you're Team Twirl or Team Portia or Team Drew. It doesn't matter. We'd love to have an adult conversation here on the channel. And as always, for those that are watching the after show, be sure to let us know your thoughts on this part 1 reunion. And if you think part 2 and part 3 will actually be really good, or did you think the reunion part 1 was a drag? Let's hear about it in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful night. I'm getting out of here. I need like a what you call it, an exit